Fellow film fans, what up? It's your boy Tay, and this is Tay Talks Talkies. Inside, directed and written by Vasilis Katsoupis, starring Willem Dafoe. This film is an experience. Willem Dafoe gives the first truly great performance of 2023. It's incredibly captivating. You cannot take your eyes off the screen. And just like a fish, the fish that are seen in the film, we are observing him through the fish tank and watching an animal just try to survive. Now, this is Vasilis Katsoupis' second film. He directed a film in 2015, and this is his second crack at being a director. He wrote the script, and it's a really, really unique film. It's a really original film, and Willem Dafoe brings it to life in such a way that only he could. He is truly one of the greatest actors of our entire lifetime, and in my opinion, one of the most underrated actors of all time. The guy doesn't even have an Oscar, and he deserves at least one. He wasn't even nominated for his performance in The Lighthouse, which is, to me, one of the greatest performances of the last 10 years. That monologue alone, as he's being buried, should have earned him at least a nomination, but that's enough about The Lighthouse, which is a great movie if you've never seen it. But no, back to Inside, the movie I'm talking about. It came out March 10th. I finally got around to seeing it. And it's the type of movie at 1 hour and 45 minutes that keeps you really on the edge of your seat, really invested in what's going on screen. From beginning to end, we are confined within the same space as our lead character, and really our only character outside of a couple characters he starts watching through the security cameras just to get some sort of social connection because he's locked in this apartment so long. This apartment's a gorgeous apartment owned by an artist, and the reason that Willem Dafoe's in the apartment is because, and this is in the description for the film, so it's not a spoiler, he's an art thief. He's trying to steal art, and this particular artist has art around his apartment that's worth millions and millions. So he enters the apartment, he gets locked in the apartment, and then the entire remainder of the movie plays out as we watch this guy try to survive and try to escape. And just like the art that he's surrounded by, he has to create this bizarre type of art just to help him survive. And there's a lot of instances of that, of art being a survival tool, which I loved. And I thought this film, for being his second try at making a film, I thought it was really exceptional. In fact, I think it's the best movie of 2023 thus far. It's a movie that really deserves to be seen because it's such a unique experience, and we're seeing a guy in Willem Dafoe who's giving it his all, as he always does, but he really bears it all here. And we see a man who is teetering on the brink of self-destruction through insanity, through isolation. And it's hard to tell how much time is really passing, but there's a shot towards the end where we see a pile of excrement that really gives you an idea for how long this guy has been in this apartment in solitude with barely the amount of tools and supplies you need to survive. But an interesting story plays out. We watch this guy try to make do, and we root for him. Even though he is a guy that is a thief, he gives a little bit of a backstory to his life. He always loved art. He always appreciated it. And although he's an all-right artist himself, we're shown instances of him creating his own art. He's not an exceptional artist, but he does progress through the story as an artist, and it culminates in a really bizarre cult-like religion he invents for himself. It's a very, very explorative film. It explores the human psyche. It explores our desire and our will to survive and what we're willing to do to survive, how cunning we're willing to become just to go on to see another day in the hopes of overcoming our obstacles. And it's quite the thrill ride. It's a movie that needs to be seen. They did a really poor job advertising for it. It's a movie I loosely saw advertised for, but it wasn't really hammered down our throat like so many movies that we see these days, utilizing different avenues of social media, combined with, of course, traditional marketing avenues. But this is a film that has a small budget, and you can tell it has a small budget because they only have one actor and one space. They wanted to keep it small, and that's all to add to the atmosphere, the claustrophobic feeling that we have as we're going through this experience with this character. And It's an awesome movie. I think you should go check out Inside. I think you'll really enjoy the experience, but in a very bizarre way. You're going to feel at the end confused. It's a movie that leaves you on somewhat of an open-ended conclusion, so you're left to kind of decipher, in my opinion at least, the way I interpreted it, kind of decipher what the outcome is for this gentleman. And I love movies like that. I think master filmmakers have an ability to set that up perfectly. And Vasilis Katsoupis is nowhere near a master filmmaker yet, but I think as his second film, even though he's in his 40s, as his second film, I think he's showing promise as a filmmaker. But there are things that a greater filmmaker could have done to make this story work better. The hour and 45-minute runtime, it felt longer than that. I was surprised it was that brief of a film. It felt over 2 hours. Now you could say that's because scenes drag on, or because you're going through a painful experience with this person. You're watching him really grasp onto life. And I think something that the film did really well, and especially Willem Dafoe's acting, is showing how delicious water is when you don't have water available. Something that we take for granted so easily. When you don't have it, it is more precious than gold. It's more precious than any amount of money. Just water, just tasting food. And Willem Dafoe so desperately, so triumphantly displayed that to the fullest degree. I don't think another actor could have shown that desperation, the lengths he's willing to go to survive, the things he's willing to do, the things he's willing to eat. And it's a film that's not gonna make obvious sense, and I don't think that's to discredit the filmmaker. I think it's a highly symbolic film that you're meant to really sit with and think about and digest. And that's all I got for you guys before I start spoiling some things. But Inside, go check it out. In theaters now. I don't know how long it'll be there, but I think it's worth paying full admission for a movie this unique. Support unique filmmaking, support original filmmaking, and support my man Willem Dafoe. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Anything can help me big time. I appreciate it. And that's all I got for you guys today. Tay out.